So let's get this started. I got tipped off by a friend that this video was up right like yesterday. I think today, early today for me. And it's been a long time since I saw this. I have another video where I kind of try to give my take on this whole situation regarding the Open Hand Foundation, Rhode himself, the Completionist, everything like that. So I thought, why not? This might not be relevant to any of you. It's way over there for my type of content. But I wanted to sort of do this. And I'm gonna try it to not just watch along. I want to give my take and everything as well. He seems more collected, starting even now, than he was in the latest video he did, responding. Then he seemed more agitated in comparison. But we'll just hit play.
YouTube channel, That One Video Gamer. Hey everyone, my name is Gerard Khalil. In 2012, I started my YouTube channel, That One Video Gamer, and for the last 13 years of my life, I have been completing games and making a lot of videos about the things that I absolutely love. On November 13th, 2023, two content creators named Carl Jobst and Mutahar Anas made videos detailing on how my family's charity, the Open Hand Foundation, had not made a contribution since its founding, despite numerous fundraisers and misleading statements by myself about charitable partners. Within a matter of days, and before I really had any opportunity to present any information of my own, the narrative had shifted. I was being accused of embezzlement and charity fraud, with Carl and Mutahar.
He's not entirely right. I think the conversation they had was way before, and he definitely had time. Might not have had enough time to gather all the facts and evidence that he needed. But he also stated in the video that he made that he had gathered all the evidence that he needed. I don't know.
Are directing their viewers to report my family's charity to the authorities,
True.
prompting a criminal investigation by the Department of Justice. We were informed that the investigation officially wrapped up in the fall of 2024. All that remained was a meeting with the Department of Justice to clear up any lingering questions, such as why the Open Hand had been mass flagged in the first place. I was constantly told by the Department of Justice that this is the final meeting, and the final meeting was right around the corner. But officially now, over a year has passed since then. I didn't want to speak publicly about this whole investigation until I had those final results in my hand, hence my silence all this time. The honest truth is that the Department of Justice will not respond to any emails, despite telling Open Hand's lawyers that they're interested in one final meeting to close the case.
That seems weird. I don't know how it is over there in America or wherever, but not responding at all in 1 year and not moving it forward. Yeah, might be some bureaucratic, my bad, stuff going on. But 1 year and no answers. And he could have waited. Still, he didn't need to make this video, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
It has been over a year waiting on this matter, and the fact of the matter is, I need to move on. Whenever
okay, valid.
I get this final documentation, whatever it says, I don't care what it is, I will share the results with whatever I am legally allowed to share as soon as I can. And I am still absolutely confident that the accusations of fraud and embezzlement will be proven false. However, even if we never broke the law, serious moral mistakes were still made by myself and the foundation. The Open Hand took far too long to donate. We never explained why it took so long until after everyone called us out. And I lied about this for all of Indieland's years, both knowingly in 2023 and unknowingly in all the years before. But it doesn't
That's true, I think.
matter what kind of explanation either I or anyone else involved might provide. This happened, and rightfully so, it pissed off everyone.
Yes.
To my viewers and donors, friends and collaborators, I am so sorry for hiding the truth. It was selfish, full stop. I want you all to have the context as to how everything happened, but nothing I've said so far is an excuse, and neither is anything else in this video.
All right.
All of this is on me. Even if it wasn't exactly how I imagined things would go, my goal always was to make sure this money got donated to the right place as quickly as possible. And
You know what? I can believe that one. Actually, I don't know what I said in my former video, but I believe that he honestly might have wanted to donate all the money to the people that he thought deserved it, or the foundation thought deserved it, and where he said the money was going. I believe in that one. Yeah.
Immensely thankful that it got done. So, with that in mind, I'm sure many of you still have a ton of questions, especially about why this happened in the first place and where I've been for the past year.
Yeah.
I want to take some time to tell my side of the story and how we got here, but I also want to clear up many of the false accusations made against me, along with addressing the individuals who not only broke this story, but pushed it into the realm of conspiracy.
Okay.
So, yes, just in case all of you are wondering, this is in fact scripted. I am reading from a script.
Good.
But I want to be clear.
Good.
The words that you're hearing today
Good.
are me and only me. There's nobody else
All
trying
right.
to influence what I say here. I just want to be sure that everything I say is accurate to the receipts I'm providing, to my own experiences, and most importantly, that you are hearing the truth straight from me, not behind lawyers, other content creators, or voiceovers disembodied by random gameplay footage. So for now,
I mean, throwing a bit of shade there, I think, and unrightfully so, I feel like, because when he last made his response video, he made it himself, by himself. I don't know. I think we're getting to it. I'm getting ahead of myself.
let's go back
again.
to where all this began, with my mom. When I was young, I lost my mom to frontotemporal dementia, and she lived with that disease for roughly 16 years.
Also, I'm wondering if he'll address the sort of lies he spewed surrounding his mother and her illness, that she was one of the longest living persons diagnosed with this deadly disease, etc. I wonder
When she
if we
passed away in
talk about
2013,
that.
my family officially launched a charity organization called the Open Hand Foundation, with the mission of raising awareness and money for dementia research, educational tools, and helping families. We saw a real need after the frustrations we had personally experienced working with UCSF and how they handled our contributions, both financially and with my mom's own body parts. Before my mom passed away, my family was assured of how incredibly helpful her donation would be and what a difference it would make to the research. Well, imagine our frustration when, after donating our mom's brain and spinal cord, along with several thousands of dollars, we were told that her body parts were pretty much useless by a staff of completely different people that we didn't even know anymore. It made my family feel like we had just given away my mom's body parts for nothing.
That's what I get from it too, and if true, this must really suck. I don't know how it works over there in the US, but I don't think this is a usual thing. This seems very unusual and admittedly frustrating. I would be frustrated.
With the contribution
Only.
feeling more like a feel-good courtesy than a worthwhile sacrifice.
Yes.
This is where the Open Hand Foundation began, and with it, the need for knowing how charitable contributions actually get spent. And as for me, I didn't really get involved into any of this until I reached a place in my career where I really felt like I could use my platform to make a big difference. In 2018, my best friends and I created Indieland, a 24 to 60 hour live stream event where we would play and promote indie games with the people who made them, raising money for charity with all of you at home watching, cheering us on as I went through tons of gross physical challenges at my own expense. Indieland went on for 6 years, and my team and I were so thrilled to see our little show succeed. However, after we finished our 5th show in November of 2022, I spoke with my family about all the good we were doing, and I really wanted to get a representative from one of our charity partners to come and speak at Indieland 2023. Only then did I learn that the Open Hand Foundation had never made a contribution since its founding, and there were no official partners.
2022, all right? But what about... What about the following years when you still kept saying that the donations were being made?
All of the money was sitting there, untouched and accounted for, ready to be donated. But at the time, there was a massive disagreement between myself and my family.
Here we go into this stuff, him and his family. One of, if I may be so bold as to speak on his behalf, sort of, or at least give my take on it, one of his biggest problems is his family and the need he has to please his father, especially if he somehow could get that in check, or at least sort of realize that maybe his father won't ever be pleased with his sort of goals in life, etc. He would be much happier. But obviously it's easier said than done, and I'm not throwing any shade here, but his family is a huge problem. That sort of bond.
I personally thought it was important that the money be donated right away. Meanwhile, my family's perspective was very different than mine. They had been negotiating with several organizations to establish contracts to take a bulk sum of money as a restricted donation. These conversations revealed that many of these potential organizations were happy to take the money, but didn't want to track what they saw as a low sum compared to the 6 to 7 figure amounts they were used to receiving from mostly corporate interest groups. After a lot of tough conversations
That's not entirely true.
over the years, my family settled on a goal of raising $1 million before donating, hoping that this would be a massive milestone that would help organizations to take the foundation way more seriously.
Fair enough. There are a lot of organizations in the US where you can donate money, and everything you donate, even small amounts, goes directly to the cause. Obviously you need to look it up, but some of their work was to look up foundations and charities that they could donate to.
But I didn't know about any of this, and I didn't care. I wanted it to go to a reputable charity that would do great things with it right away. That means for the next 12 months, I knew about the money not being donated and was having constant conversations to get it to the right place, trying to repair relationships and negotiate in good faith with several different potential benefactors. Since it was now up to me to get this money donated, I needed to stay on the board of directors for open hand, at least until the donation was officially made. It was around this point that I realized that I was in way over my head. I had just lost my job at G4, and finances were a complete mess all around for myself and my company. I was scrambling to get the Completionist restructured with new ideas and a new tone, and I was practically traveling or doing some work event almost every single week, almost the entire year. But everything was up in the air, and all of it was on me, all at once. And on top of all this was the news that I now had to fix a problem that had been unknowingly brewing for several years. However, even at this point, I couldn't just do whatever I wanted. And this is where the real conflict started. I tried my best to express how upset I was, how upset all of you would rightfully be, and that this could cost me and so many people who worked with me everything we had created and built together.
And rightfully so. I mean, they still donated a large amount of money, but obviously the money lost value over time, just sitting in an account, not even growing or anything, just sitting there. And I believe him that he said that he was way over his head, because sometimes it happens. You take on too much responsibility at once and you don't really have what it takes, and then you realize it too late. I believe him in that one, but I also believe that he sort of not used it as a shield, but I sort of feel like the whole, if everything goes like this, I will lose everything. Yeah. That's sort of consequences how they work.
And I was simply brushed aside. I had learned the hard way that the charity world moves at a glacial pace, and I've been going around touting all these organizations and all the good we'll be doing for many years, only for all of it to be a bunch of empty promises. Even after I stepped up, My best efforts to donate as fast as possible would never be good enough, as every decision I wanted to make now had to be approved by a long list of people on both the open hand side and the potential benefactors that I have been speaking with.
Again, huge problem is him and his family and their sort of involvement in the Open Hand Foundation. They should have never started the foundation with all of them on the board. That's one of the huge sort of errors they made.
So I feel that some context on my family might be helpful right here. I'm the youngest of 5 in a first-generation Lebanese immigrant household.
Yep.
My dad has always loomed large in every aspect of my life, and that absolutely extended to my own experiences with the Open Hand Foundation, and at times, even my own business.
Yep.
The expectations were that I should have been an engineer, or I should have been a lawyer. Instead, I'm a video producer who plays video games on the internet for a living.
Yep.
If you ever watched the Completionist live show from a few years ago, then all of this should sound pretty familiar to you. I did not have the final call on any major decisions when it came to the Open Hand and its finances. I was one of many people in charge.
And that is true as well. He should have just come out and say it. I am one of a few people or many people, and I don't get the final say. This is what I wanted. This is what my family wanted. And I believe they are wrong, but obviously he can't do that because then him and his family would be like fighting like that. I mean, he couldn't just pick a side.
To my family, I was seen as the video game guy, not the business guy or the charity guy.
Yeah.
Regardless, the outcomes were absolutely my responsibility because all of you at home donated your hard-earned money and time and did so with your trust in me in mind. So when I learned the truth, I made it my goal that no matter what happened, the money had to get donated. There was no other outcome that I would allow. And that's where the real...
He should have, when he learned it, he should have come out and say, guys, I just learned this. I thought the money was being donated. Turns out, no. It's just been sitting in a bank account somewhere for all this time. And I'm working my hardest to get it donated as soon as possible. He should have been proactive, but he wasn't.
Nasty core to all of this is nobody embezzled or touched any money. No crime was committed or covered up here. And the results of the Department of Justice's investigation will hopefully one day be proof of this. The decision to wait to donate until the foundation raised $1 million, along with the struggle of figuring out why that was necessary in the first place, should have absolutely been communicated with all of you.
Yes.
The Open Hand Foundation and myself especially should have been more transparent with its struggles and its goals.
The biggest.
A week after IndieLand 2023 had wrapped up, and before I could get back to the donation efforts and conversations I was having, my heart stopped when I saw an email to the Open Hand Foundation came from a one Carl Jobst. I'm very familiar with Carl's work, as he had been known at the time to be a groundbreaking creator that claimed to take down cheaters, liars, and scammers. And
he finally took down himself too. What a yoke.
I knew what was coming next. A few days later, on November 10th, I received a message from another creator, Mutahar Anas, also known as Some Ordinary Gamers.
Dig your stuff, man. Hope you're doing well. Your tweet on Radio Shack got recommended to me, and I realized I hadn't been following you. Lamau.
I respected and trusted Mutahar, so when he asked if I wanted to hop on...
Sorry, many people did, but turns out he lied as well about being an engineer and stuff like that, so I mean...
Discord call to talk about a discrepancy with some of the Open Hand Foundation.
Hey man, I was wondering if you would be free for a call today. We got tipped off about a discrepancy with your guys' charity, Open Hand Foundation. Just wanted to run some of the public documents with you and get your side of the story. Doing due diligence here. Okay, this was 2023, the 10th of November. Yeah man, of course, I figured this was going to come up sooner rather than later and that something huge was coming. It's been building the last couple of days. I'm in the middle of meetings for the next hour or so. Would you give me a couple of hours? Fair enough. Okay, I'm just gonna hit pause and I wanna check when they made the videos, the first video. Well, I can be wrong sometimes too. Turns out they reached out and they reached out and 3 days later they made their videos. So I understand that he didn't really have time to gather all the facts and evidence that he needed. That's kind of fucked up.
Publicly available documents. I agreed, thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe we could
I'll let you know I'm good whenever. Perfect, we'll call in 30. Sure.
cat this out and clear the air. No problem.
Yep.
Mudahar never once asked about the laws or regulations that Carl had asked about, so I had no reason to think they were collaborating together, especially since they had no prior history together online. I hopped on the call, assuming that this would just be the two of us, until my surprise, I saw Carl join. The rest of what's publicly available to all of you is essentially me having a panic attack while trying to be transparent with two creators I respected at the time, all at the behest of throwing my friends and family under several buses. I saw the headlines coming, and I spiraled, losing control of everything. I did my best to reiterate my family's infighting, the struggles with finding a donor for a restricted donation, and that no matter what was going to happen, all the money was accounted for and ready to be donated. And they even acknowledged that there was no evidence of embezzlement and that it's not even what they were asking about. So it gave me some hope that this whole thing could be recovered in some way.
I think a big problem with Gerard is that when he does these types of videos, especially now, a typical good example is that he said he had a panic attack and he saw the headlines, he was getting ahead of himself. Big problem with him is that he does this shit instead of like, okay, I just say it to them. Say, I wasn't prepared to talk to both of you. Can you give me a little bit of time to sort of prepare, because I feel like this is a bit overwhelming to sort of have out in the open, and I haven't really prepared everything. So if I need to take some time to sort of answer some questions, so he should have been proactive again, but he just sort of gets so ahead of himself.
I'm keeping it to the charity and like the money and why it hasn't moved. I won't personally be mentioning anybody family related and the personal hell that you honestly have to go through. That's like a fucking no-no for me personally. On my end, and I'm sure on Carl's end, that's something that obviously I think we can abide by. That's just an ethics thing for any journalist, really. The very big silver lining is the money is there, according to every PP filing that I've seen. It can all be like done right, you know. This isn't a situation of actual embezzlement or, you know, money being moved to the fucking Cayman Islands or some cryptocurrency offshore. This is a situation that can be rectified for very positive sakes. But yeah,
I was terrified and I should have kept my mouth shut. But some part of me believed that if I was honest right from the get-go, maybe I could get out ahead of this and it could end up just being more of a cautionary situation for people to know.
If you haven't seen or more likely listened to that call or those calls, you should really do it before coming here, because those are pretty much vital. And I think he sells those short a bit with how he presents them. They are pretty damning if you listen to them and what he says. But again, he says he had a panic attack and was under a lot of pressure. So, yeah.
3 days later, Monday, November the 13th, Mudahar and Carl released their videos, and the story was broken. It made donating even more important, but even more difficult due to the new online reputation of the Open Hand Foundation and myself. Many of these organizations we'd been speaking with suddenly wanted nothing to do with us, legally informing us to keep our distance, and the situation quickly became desperate. Thankfully, my brother and I were able to secure...
But that's also stupid, because he doesn't really give context to what he said in those calls. And I think that if he was saying like, okay, I hear you guys, I know that you mostly want to see the money still being there, okay? That's what you guys want to do. You want to see that the money is still there. I haven't like me or someone else haven't really taken any money or whatever. But why? So why not just prove it? Like, for me, I can give a sort of withdrawal. I can hide sort of personal information and whatever I need to hide with, like, this is the salary. No, not salary. This is sort of the amount of money you have on this account or whatever. And then I don't think they would have made those videos.
A meeting with AFTD the very next day, and by November 29th of 2023, the Association of Frontotemporal Dementia received $600,000 from the Open Hand Foundation. Soon after this donation was made, I resigned from my role on the board of directors, ending my relationship with my family's efforts in the Open Hand Foundation.
Important to note that $600,000 is a lot of money, and it's a great donation, but it wasn't all the money that was donated. So, important to note.
The money that remained in the Open Hands account was intended to cover any future operating expenses or potential legal fees. That would prove to be important since the very next day on November 30th, we received a notice from the California Department of Justice that the Open Hand Foundation was now being investigated. All receipts were being sent over, and per legal advice, everyone's mouths were to be kept shut. The main priority for me was, at the very least, the $459,129.90 raised by Indieland donors would finally go to the original cause of dementia research in honor of my mother. At this point, my...
Okay, but... So the money going... So the money that was still in the Open Hand Foundation charity account, they were to be used for legal costs? What? I guess, but doesn't it seem kind of fucked up now that I think about it, when, like, oh, I donated to this guy or to this charity, or they're gonna donate it further, they're gonna, like, create all these connections. Oh, they're just using it to sort of go to trial or something. What?
My family and I were completely overwhelmed with the noise coming in. And as a result, we brought in several different professionals to help us determine how to even best respond to the ever-growing list of allegations.
Why several? Go to a law firm or something and say, hey, we got this problem. Can you guys help us or something? What?
This is what finally led to my response on December 9th of 2023. All the information that I'm sharing with you right now and going to be sharing with you, this is what I wanted to say in that video. At the time, the Open Hands Foundation's legal counsel instructed me not to say or share anything because nobody knew what would be relevant to the pending investigation by the government.
Don't want to say anything at all. Or if you need to say anything, just come out and say, hey, Open Hand is under investigation. I don't really get to say anything. I need to keep my mouth shut, but when this is over, I can come out. I mean, why are you... Oh, he's making it so hard. Why?
Essentially handcuffed from telling the full story because our lawyers instructed me to not address any information potentially related to the ongoing investigation, which included receipts, potential evidence, and even fully admitting to any and all of my mistakes.
Yeah, and you didn't need to. Just come out to say, under investigation, can't say shit. I promise I'm gonna be transparent as fast as I can. That's just how it is. Done.
When this response video failed to inspire folks to trust and believe in me still, I knew that my support systems were going to go away very quickly.
Yep.
My financial, legal, and community support disappeared overnight, with a lot of my friendships, both personal and professional, going away with it as well. It was clear that I had failed and my options were extremely limited. Over the course of the next 2 months, almost all the employees at That One Video Gamer were let go, and I spent most of my time clearing out the now defunct old office.
Yep.
I decided to continue making content as a way just to keep the lights on despite my legal silence. But by the summer of 2024,
Very stupid,
I
I'm
eventually
sorry.
stopped producing new content altogether. I would go on to disappear from the lives of practically everyone I knew because I thought that in my own hating isolation, that's what everyone wanted from me.
No.
In reality, I ended up doing a lot more harm than good by letting everyone else deal with the public responses, and that was extremely selfish of me. Without being able to truly apologize and take 100% full accountability for the things that I was responsible for, it felt like no one wanted to ever hear from me, let alone trust me ever again. To my moderators, my biggest fans that have rolled with me since day one, and especially to anyone who ever donated to IndieLand in any way, shape, or form. So many of you trusted me, my words, and my reputation in what I stood for. I know a lot of you have left this community, are hurt and feel betrayed, and were even threatened or harassed by people online just
That's
for
fucked
saying
up.
that you still believed in me.
Yeah.
I put all of you
Shouldn't be harassed. You can be critiqued, but harassment is never the way forward or the solution.
in an unbelievably difficult situation, and for that, I am deeply sorry. To my past employees, I am so sorry that you've had to endure the sudden hardship of needing to find new employment with a resume that had my name and company insignia on it. You trusted me to manage That One Video Gamer and everything related to our brand in a way that would keep us going for the next decade. All of you gave me your blood, sweat, and tears, and some of you for the full
Truly.
13 years of our existence. I am forever grateful for all of you, and I am so sorry that this ended up becoming the worst possible scenario for all of us.
I think if you've been in the early days of the Completionist, you also will remember Greg. He used to be a part of That One Video Gamer, and I think he came out and said on Reddit or something on Twitter, I don't remember, that he basically left mostly due to their differing opinions on how to handle the company and how the work would be handled, but also that he himself believed that Gerard's family and their involvement and pressure and sort of just their them existing was a huge had a huge detrimental effect on Gerard and his company, or their company at the time. And I believe him too. I agree that one of Gerard's biggest problem, in my opinion, I don't know all the ins and outs, but it's his reliance and sort of the need to try to please his father, especially. That's
To Fraser Perez-Don.
And it's sad too, because I feel like he doesn't really need it to. But it's also hard to find that self-worth outside of family. But I believe that he has so much to be proud of, even now. He has done some amazing things. I believe it still. So it kind of sucks, just. That's all.
Patrick Stingline and Michael Berardi. To Fraser Perez-Don, Patrick Stingline, and Michael Berardi. You've always been my best friends. Your relentless support has always meant the world to me. IndieLand and so much of TOVG's ambition and drive was from the three of you and your dreams. You dreamed as big as I did, if not bigger, and contributed to our success. I will always be in your debt, and my heart is so heavy for how this ruined your lives and the lives of your fellow employees. I will find a way somehow, someday, to reconcile and seek redemption with all of you, if you will allow me to. I want to especially apologize to the Super Beard Brothers, the Scary Game Squad, the Friends Per Second podcast, and all of the guests and indie game developers that appeared at IndieLand for the long road of chaos they had to endure and will continue to endure because of all of this. I don't expect forgiveness from anyone who watches this, but I do want all of you to know that I am doing everything in my power to make it right. And on that note...
But that's the problem. You can't make it right afterwards. The only thing you really can do when you fucked up this big, sort of, is come out and say, hey, this is my take, this is my piece, this is what I have to say. And then you've done it. It's not really up to you to sort of fix it, because like I kind of like Gerard, because in the at the base level I believe he's hardworking and he's a genuine guy in the bottom. I believe that still. And he wants to see good. And he wants to he wants people to enjoy things and games, and he wants to share that joy. I still believe that, but it's, damn, man. Like, you can't fix this fully. I don't believe you can.
I do want to talk a little bit about the progress update on AFTD's fight against dementia and how all the money you all donated is helping real people today.
Good.
In July of 2024, AFTD sent OpenHand a report of what our contribution was going towards in compliance with the terms of the restricted donation previously negotiated upon. And I'll have that full report in the box.
Some studies going on the way. Better understand the real world implications. Okay. Predictive testing to construct an ethical framework for use in research in clinical settings. Right. A Pathways for Hope pilot grant was awarded to Civic Melament for his study evaluating how a C9 or F72 mutation implicates promoter activation. That's interesting. Sort of what leads to this progressive neurodegeneration. How does it start and how can you detect it earlier, I presume? Zachary McGeekin. TDP 43, gene transcription and protein production. This is so interesting. I'm sorry. I just find this sort of thing very interesting. If I wasn't a programmer or software developer, I think I would be in this field instead.
Of the restricted donation previously negotiated upon. And I'll have that full report in the box down below, but I do want to touch on a few things that I'm very excited about. First off, when we negotiated our donation with AFTD, an outside party matched another $200,000 to our donation through one of AFTD's matching programs. So the total at the end of the day was actually $800,000 that went to dementia research, education, and care. This money was distributed through a wide variety of grants to several different researchers around the country, studying both chemical and social questions surrounding dementia, FTD, and all related disorders. Alongside this, one specific grant was awarded to the Respite Care Financial Assistance Program.
FTD's Comstock Grant Program now provides respite, quality of life, and travel grants to help alleviate some of the financial burden people experience while navigating a diagnosis. Intended for persons diagnosed and their current care partners, grants worth up to $500 each can be used for scheduling time and services for emotional and physical well-being. 753 grants. This is great.
Now this helps to alleviate the financial burden of those diagnosed with FTD via direct cash grants for victims and their families. At the end of June of 2024, AFTD distributed 753 grants as a part of this program. That means there's 753 individual families who receive direct assistance hiring professional caregivers, enrolling in care programs, and purchasing supplies like shoes, clothes, and technology, and so much more. Now, this is a very detailed report with a ton of scientific terminology, but if you ever donated to Indieland over the years, then this report is for you. It's your money helping these families through both new research and relief funding. And it is making an actual genuine difference to so many people.
That's a nice way to put it.
Worth, I want to genuinely thank each and every one of you who donated over the years. Thank you so much for your compassion and generosity. Sincerely. On top of all of this, the Open Hand Foundation has committed to donate to AFTD for many years to come, as long as they have money to operate with $50,000 already having been contributed this year alone. Given that this amount was so much smaller than the last donation, they asked us not to have any big press releases around this time. Even though I'm not a part of the Open Hand anymore, it makes me so happy to know that the foundation is continuing to donate and hopefully start to rebuild some of the trust. Donors, in the end, if you donated to Indieland, your money went to charity and only charity. That was the promise. That was the...
That's false. He's... That's not true, my guy. Because some of the money went to operating costs, which is sort of how charities usually work. A percentage of the money or some of the money goes to operating costs to drive events or host events to generate more money. So it sort of goes around and around. But a part of that money does go to operating costs. It can go to the venues or equipment or food or whatever you need or whatever you say. Hotels sometimes, flights even. And I think it's kind of disingenuous to say that all the money went to charity when that's not true.
The goal, and we got there. I want to reiterate that at the end of the day, I was not trying to use or abuse my power as an influencer, and the intent was always to raise money for charity and never to take any of it.
I believe
The
that.
memory and legacy of my mother is one of the most important things to me, and truly to this day, despite her passing, I do not think that I have gotten over the hardships and the trauma that I've experienced in my life.
I don't think you ever do that. I'm sorry.
She always taught me to do good. And I was trying to live through her to do good. And I'm still trying to do good to this day. You, as a viewer, deserve the facts, and especially the truth. That's why I want to clarify as many of the allegations against me as I can that are absolutely false.
Interesting.
First, I want to address the idea that the open hand could quickly just donate the money the same way you can just click donate on a charity website or Venmo or PayPal a friend.
Almost everyone is screaming at them just to donate the money, which should be pretty easy to do.
One thing you'll see is they'll ask me to gift an amount
That's
that is as low
personal.
as $35.
Yeah.
The short answer is no. If we wrote a check to a charity with no agreements on how that money gets spent or how it's tracked, we would never have received a report detailing how our donors' money was being put to use. It would likely have gone to funding administrative costs like accounting fees and...
But it's still important. I'm sorry. What? How can you... You're a charity hosting events to raise more money. Some of the money you get donated. Some of the money... Give me a sec. Alright. So, let's say... we can do it like so. Circle. Fuck. Sorry. Here we go. Boof. Boof. We'll do it like this. Circle. I'm getting ahead of myself. Money. Oh. This is going great. Don't worry about it, okay? Money. And then we have... Oh, right. Really? What? Here we go. I think this is it. Donations. We can do like this too. Count. And here, operating costs. Don't mind me. I don't have enough money to buy fucking Photoshop. I think this is the problem, right? And we'll do like this. Open hand foundation. This is the situation in its sort of easy money in their account. Some of it from donations go to operating costs. It's still money for the charity, but some of it goes to operating costs or whatever administrative stuff. That's just how it works. Like, what are you going to run a charity and host events with no money? No, that's not reality. So some of that money goes away, and when it happens over a year, let's say, what was it? I think 5 years. Then operating costs. I'll try to show you how I mean. This is what happens. Oh, great. And year 5. For fuck's sake. It's more like this. Okay. A bit too much maybe. Like every year it sort of grows and grows and grows, and it appends to become larger and larger. So in the end, say maybe 10% went to operating costs over the years. I don't think I'm wrong to assume that.
Executive salaries. It had to be restricted to make sure that it actually went to dementia research. And negotiating with many of these organizations is really tough when you aren't donating tens of millions of dollars. To us, $600,000 was an astronomical amount of money, especially for me and my community. But in the charity world, that's small potatoes. There's a ton more to this whole thing. That's about the best explanation that I can personally provide, because I am not a 501c3 lawyer or accountant. Right. This stuff is unbelievably complex, and it takes time to get it right. Simply put, it was functionally impossible for us to just donate the money in a website's donate button section while being responsible to the people who donated to us and the cause that we represented. That obviously does not excuse the fact that it took far too long to donate, but hopefully this at least explains why, even once you find a benefactor, it's still a very tedious process. Next, I want to talk about Twitch bits and Twitch subscriptions.
Oh,
if you
interesting.
don't know how bits and subs work, viewers can donate money in the form of Twitch bits, as well as subscribe to a Twitch streamer for perks like emotes and private streams. This money then gets split with Twitch, and the remaining balance then comes to the Twitch streamer at the end of the month. During the weeks of Indieland, all bits and subs that we received on the channel were put towards the donation goal throughout the event. I'm sure many of you have seen a lot of clips and memes at this point over the years where I have said we don't touch any bits or subs. Technically speaking, I do have to interact with them because I have to claim the income that comes to me and my company, and any money that Twitch pays out is income regardless of where we'll end up going later on.
Then why have it go through your charity? I'm sorry. Why not just donate directly and sort of, let's say I want to host an event, a fundraising event. All right. I try to find sort of charities to donate to. And I tell them, okay, I want to host an event and I want to have like all the money that comes in through my viewers, I want to keep track of. So usually some of the more serious events and charities usually can provide you with some sort of personal link, or you get what I mean, a sort of a special donation link to connect to your event. So that way you're able to keep track, maybe not update it every time, but it updates like every hour or so. Okay, here's the new amount. All right. I don't think that's hard to do, and that would solve all the donations of bits, and that would solve everything. It would just make life easier. I don't know. What the
However, either myself or my brother, sometimes referencing a meme name during the stream, referencing something that was taking place at the time in the stream, would donate various amounts of money that matched what we had received from Twitch viewers in real time up to that point directly to our Tiltify page. That way, the on-screen totals would match and no amount would ever get forgotten.
Yeah.
If there was any discrepancy at the time, we made sure to donate extra to ensure accuracy, and sometimes that happened a few days after Indieland had wrapped up. We worked hard to figure this process out, as early on we didn't have everything locked in, but by the time we were done, that was our process. No matter what though, dollar for dollar, everything did go to charity. For full transparency, on screen right now you can see our
Twitch revenue, direct donations, net total from all funding sources. Gross total contributed to open hand. So when you said earlier that some of the money did go to events and other sort of costs, where is that money? Something doesn't really add up here in my head.
Revenue for Twitch bits and subs for every year of Indieland, and the document containing this data will be available for you down below.
All right.
$459,129.90 was contributed to the open hand by the fundraising efforts of That One Video Gamer, The Completionist, and Indieland. All of the money raised for Indieland went directly towards that sum, and absolutely none of it was used for either expenses or personal use. This can be corroborated by both our Twitch earnings and our unclaimed expenses year on year.
But then That One Video Gamer, did your company, the costs for the events, did your company sort of pay for them? What? Okay.
The process of receiving and tracking Twitch bits and subs was a tedious extra layer to Indieland's operations, which is why we encourage viewers eventually over the years to donate directly to the Tiltify campaign instead. That way, donor money was going directly to the open hand, and I don't need to be the middleman at all in this situation. While we're talking expenses, let's address the claim that I used Indieland as a way to earn money from claimed expenses.
No,
And
I thought you were
running a prestigious event with big name celebrities and respected creators.
Of everyone in the entire world who benefits from Indieland, it's Gerard who benefits the most. He gets the Twitch followers, he gets the media attention, he gets to mingle with game developers and celebrities, he gets all the credit.
As it grew, Indieland became increasingly more expensive to produce. Most of all in 2022, we made it an attendable live show like we had promised our viewers in 2019. That One Video Gamer shouldered all expenses.
All right.
That was my contribution to the cause. The general rule of thumb is that a nonprofit charity should only spend around 25% of its income on expenses. And according to the BBB Wise Giving Alliance, 35% is the max amount to be considered a credible charity. The Open Hands operating costs, on average, were only 11.85% during the years that Indieland was being run.
Total contributions, total expenses, net revenue, expense percentage. So 2014, pre-Indieland, you had 0% expense. Which is great, and you still raised a lot of money. Okay. Total contributions, 60,000. Total expenses, almost half. Wow. Something really doesn't add up in my brain here. I'm sorry. But how come from 2015 to 17, it ran from 50%, 30%, and 35.5%, and then it went below 20% excluding the 2021 every year?
We
Seems a
achieved
bit
this
sus.
because Indieland had no claimed expenses to maximize donor contributions, and
All
more
right.
importantly, it was a passion project for our team. This was our idea. This
All
was
right.
our vision. This was our dream. In the now leaked Discord interview conducted by Carl and Mudahar, I had previously mentioned that some expenses were recouped by my company via Twitch revenue or reimbursements from the foundation. It actually turns out that I was wrong. No expenses were ever claimed by my company, either through OpenHand or through the Twitch revenue.
Okay, that's great, but then you were incorrect and it's on you then.
Between travel expenses for guests, venue costs for 2022,
$47,000 expense. Holy bro. Bro. How can... Okay, they raised a lot of money. But almost in my currency, that's $500,000 in my currency. $500,000. Travel accommodations for guests. Flights, hotels, food, appearance fees. That don't have those guests on that are that... Well,
food and drinks, and all sorts of other extras. That one video gamer spent approximately $88,000 running IndieLand across all 6 years. This also doesn't include the tax burden that one video gamer took on by processing Twitch bits and subscriptions, plus the man hours dedicated to preparing for and running these events. That's hundreds of hours from 5 full-time employees being paid to put this event on together year after year. In short, we spent tens of thousands of dollars of my company's own money to run a charity that we did not get paid for.
Then why run it? I'm sorry, but that seems such... That seems so incredibly stupid. I'm sorry, I have no other way to put it. Why not scale it down then? Recognize, okay, this is a bit too expensive for my company. And I'm having financial troubles, as you yourself said. So why not just scale it down 1 year and say, guys, this is expensive. We want to keep the lighter tone. We're gonna run it for longer and keep the expenses down a bit. That way your company doesn't have to shoulder, like, in my currency, 1 million. Just to create a charity to donate them.
For clout, but because we cared. Many employees volunteered additional time to make IndieLand happen, and I did not make this mandatory for their duties. We were all building this thing together. This event belonged to the staff who put it together, and they did it because they wanted to. They cared immensely about both indie games and victims of dementia. I am insanely proud of my team, and we only succeeded as much as we did because of their unbelievable dedication.
But I don't think you can sort of deny that you gained something from this either. Like, you're the face of the company. You're the face of the Completionist. You yourself is sort of your branding.
Was the face, yes, and I did have final say. But this was our baby, not just mine.
Name one other worker or something in your team. Can you not name one? Because I can't. Or I can name two. I can name two. Maybe three. Because I have watched The Completionist so many hours, and I watched the other content as well, the personal channel. Otherwise I wouldn't know these guys. I would know The Completionists. Because that's the brand.
I am so proud of the showrunners, producers,
still, it's a good work, yes,
and coordinators who actually achieved these goals that they set for themselves. As a final note, I want to add that many online have noticed that the OpenHand Foundation has entered into a delinquency status with the IRS. Carl Jobst has run with this, saying that this is further proof that OpenHand did not comply with the law. In reality, the OpenHand's legal counsel was instructed by the Department of Justice to withhold their tax filings until the investigation was concluded. This delinquency status is the charity equivalent of an unpaid parking ticket and gets cleared whenever OpenHand files a specific form, which they've already taken care of. As a result, This delinquency status has been corrected and is actually explicit proof that my family and I fully complied with the investigation and truly have nothing to hide. Now, I wish I could end the video right here and move on not acknowledge my detractors beyond easily debunked numbers and misunderstood compliance laws. Unfortunately, Carl and Mudahar have made themselves impossible to ignore. They have inserted themselves into my story whether I like it or not. Both of them have perpetuated and publicized numerous conspiracy theories about myself and my family online, and this has led to irreparable harm.
More Carl than Mura, but still, yeah, I agree.
To not just myself, but everyone associated with my family, including personal information being leaked, stalking, public harassment, and so much more.
I get it, but that's not entirely their fault either. People online, they are crazy. That's just how it is. People, they do be crazy. And I realized that shining a light on something, yeah, sure, people will obviously go insane mode if they don't have anything other going on in their lives, but still.
It doesn't matter that these guys never explicitly said they believe some of this stuff, nor do they verbally condone bad faith attacks. They discussed and entertained several conspiracies that directly hurt
at least
people who had nothing to do with any of this at all. One of the conspiracy claims was that my family donated personal funds to cover up the fact that we secretly stole all of the donor money. Both Mudahar and Carl discussed this as not only a legitimate possibility, but as a likely reality, despite the fact that no hard evidence of embezzlement has ever existed.
One of the actual conspiracies for this is, one user writes, they just needed a few weeks to secure a loan or liquidate assets to come up with the money to do this. If this conspiracy theory is true and the California DOJ or the IRS are investigating, that's going to draw some serious eyeballs over to them. So if that money is there, just prove it exists. I get it. You're behind lawyers and PR agencies.
If this was actually true, the DOJ would have caught it instantly and acted accordingly. 501c3 charities in California are extremely strict and are under much tighter supervision than most other states in the US.
He also says, if this conspiracy theory is true. I don't like the guy, but come on, he says it explicitly.
An even more outrageous conspiracy tries to allege that my dad poisoned my mom.
Shit, I've been in that kind of position taking care of my own mom. Sure, something may be off, but it's Reddit. It's Reddit! My guy! It's Reddit! They're insane.
In order to not just worsen her condition, but maybe even cause her diagnosis in the first place. These were particularly
obviously a not well-funded individual.
Nasty conspiracies that I wanted to address in my
Have you ever been to PIX? People are insane.
Initial response video from December of 2023, where I shared my mom's autopsy report to prove that yes, she did live and die with frontotemporal dementia. Some people were a little confused about this and were extremely upset that I used my mom's death certificate in that way that I did. But seeing all these accusations that were swirling around me, even the truth of my mom's disorder was now officially being questioned. Now,
then why not clarify, this is why I share this. Because there are conspiracy theories going around, and I felt the need to clarify that this is the proof. And you don't even have to share it, because they are randoms on Reddit. Some fucking guy with a Simpsons profile. Come on, dude.
Even the truth of my mom's disorder was now officially being questioned. Now, there's one more thing that I want to get ahead of here. Just a couple years before my mom passed away, my dad started dating his now current wife while still being married to my mom. When you're committed to caring for someone with dementia for over a decade, life gets extremely complicated.
Why are you even talking about this, my guy? Okay.
My mom was at least 10 years into getting sick, and she was barely communicative at this point. My dad somehow found love at his senior age with an amazing woman who would go on to help our family take care of my mom well into her final days. I should not have to explain what I feel is no one's business but my family's.
It isn't.
Unfortunately, there's Discord receipts of Carl stating that
Get off the fucking internet.
this was the last bit of family stuff that he was holding back.
This is that with his mistress at the golf tournament in 2012, a year before the mother died. And the mistress became one of the board members of the Open Hand Foundation. Yeah, and that's coming from a guy that has been forced into personal bankruptcy because Billy Mitchell won a lawsuit against him. Defamation lawsuit. Or I think that Carl lost his lawsuit. Something like that. Either way, he lost against Billy Mitchell because he can't keep his mouth shut and he just speculates whatever he comes over. Carl is a freaking doofus too.
Presumably until I decided to respond again,
I'm sorry.
repeatedly referring to my stepmom as a mistress in my dad's supposed affair.
He's a
Considering
fucking
he used
douche.
this
I'm sorry.
exact tactic against Billy Mitchell, accusing his current
Yeah.
wife of being nothing but a mistress
Yeah.
in Billy's alleged affair. I have no doubt in my mind that Carl would and might still try and use this against me in the future.
Yeah, he's insane. Carl is insane, and he acts like he won the lawsuit. He doesn't have any sort of. What a joke.
Very next
person.
week, he applied to marry his mistress of many years. So that's why Billy lies about his marriage, because the truth is that he had his children out of wedlock to a mistress, and that just doesn't sound quite as wholesome.
Myself and my family have long accepted and love who my dad married after my mom passed away. It doesn't matter how much...
Bro, Carl Jobst, it's his personal Discord too, but it's Discord, and it's Carl Jobst.
Carl tries to twist the truth here. There is no grand conspiracy here.
Yeah.
The truth is that despite what they claim, Mudahar and Carl are not journalists, accountants, lawyers, or even engineers. They're
Okay, that was fun. I'll give him that. You know what? I'll give him that. It recently came out that Mudahar wasn't an engineer despite having said that or claimed that for many, many, many years. And you can have that. I give you that. That's a good one. That was funny.
YouTubers, just like me. That's why they never issued any corrections to this story, despite numerous allegations being thoroughly disproven. Even before my own response video came out. Corrections and questions are entertained as possible, but at no point did either of these two admit that they were wrong about anything they incorrectly cited. The 5% rule for charities to donate every single year, open hands filing status, expenses and contribution totals, or even my own words. These were
your own words was the proof, and clearly they weren't really that good either. Because your words sort of made it worse, my guy. I just feel like Mudahar, despite being a doofus him too, he feels a bit more genuine, while Carl just... Oh, he's a lost soul.
That I tried to address in my response video, and others online had corrected them as well. There were a number of laws, requirements, and so much more that both Carl and Mudahar cited incorrectly, with no corrections to this very day. Let's take a step back real quick. Mudahar's first video released on November 13th. His next upload responding to online criticisms was on November 20th. His third video was on December the 2nd. And a fourth video was then released on December 7th, this time to talk about our donation to AFTD. Each and every video, Mudahar told his viewers that the open hand needed to be reported for an audit if you, the viewer, wanted anything to change.
Looking at their golf tournament, looking at a bunch of other places, there is at least in my opinion, income or revenue that should be reassessed by an auditing body.
Yeah, and what's wrong with that? In reality, what's wrong with it?
That is until December 9th when I released my response video. In my video, I said that we welcomed an audit, responding to the claim that we were somehow afraid that an investigation might happen, exposing the books and everything up to everyone.
But then you're misunderstanding, because I don't feel like Mudahar was malicious about it. I feel like he just wanted the truth, what happened with the rest of the money, etc., and where did the money go. He wanted transparency, while Carl is obviously just...
What they don't want is people, especially the authorities, looking into the golf tournament and all of that sponsorship money.
But if you have the money,
like
I
said,
think it's illogical to show that you have the money and you are willing to donate it. Unless, of course, even if possessing the money after all of this, there are still some serious legal repercussions.
Instead of admitting that, hey,
that's
maybe
not wrong.
He might have gone too far, Mudahar doubled down, saying that a criminal investigation by the government suddenly doesn't disprove his accusations that we broke the law.
Now, the audit was never the smoking gun during this video, and you might be like, whoa, what are you talking about, Muda?
This is the exact investigation that Mudahar instructed his viewers would deliver.
Given the lack of comment over the completionist charity situation isn't surprising, since for this you definitely need time and lawyers. I'm a bit saddened why we haven't seen a statement confirming the money is still in the charity's holdings. For transparency's sake, I'll also be sending my research and complaints to the Attorney General of the state of California. If this is charity fraud, only they can confirm, and they have an obligation to do so. He's careful with this word. He says if. Also, I get it, like he's pushing on a bit, kind of hard. But the whole summary of what he says is, I want to see what the total amount of money, what has happened to the money. Is there money still in the account? What's the plan for the money? But because you didn't come out and answer any of that, and I get it, you were under legal, but come out and say that then. I can't say shit. This is just the reality. This is the situation. Bam, done.
For justice if they followed his instructions.
Do you want justice to be delivered? So I'm going to teach you guys how to report this properly. Now, obviously, if you want any agency to look into this, check the state of California.
As for Carl,
what's wrong
he
with that?
actually acknowledges that he doesn't correctly cite any of the laws that I supposedly broke.
I couldn't give two shits if any of that is illegal or illegal. It would not affect my own moral judgments because I don't base my morals on whether or not a court convicts someone of a crime.
Because I am the auditor of justice. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Instead of admitting that he got anything wrong in his videos, Carl conveniently says that he is not a journalist, he's just making entertainment.
The purpose of a YouTube video is first and foremost to entertain, because if a video isn't easy to understand or entertaining, people won't watch it and I will get less money.
Yeah, he's just an idiot.
Criminal wrongdoing and inexcusable moral character are now a form of entertainment and should not be taken as fact, despite the fact that Carl cites himself constantly as an investigative journalist, both in his GoFundMe campaigns, on the record in the courtroom in several...
Bro, this is a huge W.
different cases.
Okay, Gerard, you got it. I agree. He's a fucking idiot.
And even in one of his most recent videos.
My channel and my investigative work improved dramatically after I got sued.
Despite the best efforts that I put in my initial response video, I was never going to win, no matter what I said.
True.
The money got donated, but that was never the true goal. For Carl and Muda...
Like, Carl is such a... I can't even describe how moronic this person is. Because this, my vid, will be the final nail. He is fucked after my vid. Totally fucked. I think realistically, if Gerard went to trial against Carl, he would win too. Because this is so clearly malicious. He doesn't really care about the video doing well. He just wants to see... What a yoke of a person.
Hard to succeed. I had to be irredeemable. And nothing I could have legally provided at the time would have been enough.
Which I will once again prove in this video that you cannot take Gerard at his word. He is proven to be somebody that is deceptive.
It was my 16-minute
That's
video
true, I'm
under
sorry.
the scrutiny of countless legal professionals versus their 8+ hours of sponsored conspiracy-based attacks. So
So
as
what
a
if they're
recap,
sponsored?
yes, I did lie about where the donations were going.
Yeah.
Knowingly so after IndieLand 2022.
Done. Say no more.
I try to take responsibility privately by making sure that the money got donated appropriately, hoping that I can minimize the damage this might do to everyone in my life, keeping this a secret to prevent anyone else from being complicit.
Stop talking.
In reality, continuing to hide this throughout 2023 only made everything worse.
Yep.
Because now I was still directly complicit. There was always going to be hell to pay, and I was just being stupid about all of this. I should have just partnered with the organization directly, made things right from the beginning, and not cared about restricted donations or where the money was going. I also should not have gone ahead with IndieLand in 2023.
True.
The show had taken a life of its own because it finally was receiving the notoriety for all of our team's hard work, and I did not want to hurt or betray everyone that put their blood, sweat, and tears into the show. This was just as important to indie games as it was to charity, and that added a ton of expectations and pressure.
Then come out proactively and say, hello, I just found out that the money hasn't been donated yet. I'm doing my damnedest to get it donated as soon as possible.
In the end, I made a choice that cost my team their employment and ruined their lives, not to mention all the residual flack
A bit traumatic.
of every indie developer that they received just because of their association to me. It was short-sighted and dishonest. I should have come clean as soon as I learned about it and separated myself and the event from my family immediately.
Yes. Done.
With all that being said, though, what I did not do was steal, embezzle, or otherwise misappropriate donor funds for anything.
All right.
Every cent of money donated was always there, waiting to find a benefactor. Any claims of theft, embezzlement, or fraud are categorically false. I also want to apologize to Carl and Mudahar. Despite my criticisms, I know what it's like to have your entire life scrutinized by tens of thousands of strangers who just want to see you
Oh
fail.
no.
And
Is he
nobody
gonna say it?
deserves that. I know you both wanted this money donated, and you didn't deserve to get blown off just because people liked me.
Carl did.
But I'm not interested in fighting some eternal YouTube drama conflict. I just want to come clean, and this is genuinely the soonest I was able to do so. So if you're really interested in understanding whether Carl and Mudahar conducted a responsible and educated investigation, there's a great YouTube video out there by a YouTube channel called Accounting in YouTube that breaks down the entire thing. And it's made by actual CPAs who looked at everything that Carl and Mudahar looked at. If this is where my work in charity ends, then so be it. I have participated in dozens of public fundraising events over the years that have nothing to do with the Open Hand Foundation or my family for that matter. And the reason has always been the same each and every single time. Real people need as much help as they can get when faced with life-changing disorders like dementia. I've experienced this whole thing firsthand from the age of 10. It is one of the hardest things I've ever had to endure, and I never wanted to defraud anyone in all of this. I just wanted to raise money for charity and help promote indie games. I wanted to elevate the industry as much as I could because it's always elevated me.
I believe him.
Where do we go from here? Even if I somehow recover from this controversy, things can never be the same as they once were. Does that mean the Completionist, the show, my channel, my livelihood? Is it all just dead? No. Hell no. I still complete games. I actually never stopped completing games. Even through the entirety of last year, I completed well over a dozen games just because I wanted to. At the end of the day, I still love making videos. I'm not a drama YouTuber or anything like that. I play games and just want to make videos about the things that I'm passionate about. My life is fundamentally different these days. My friend group has completely shifted. My family dynamics are very, very different. And the image that you all had of me is shattered.
Yeah.
And maybe that's all okay. Maybe it's not okay. Maybe it doesn't need to be okay. But this is a new beginning for me, the Completionist, and hopefully all of you at home who've supported me.
No.
Should you choose to continue to roll with me. From now on, this is my story to tell. And if you're here for it, I cannot wait to make entirely new kinds of videos that will make you laugh and hopefully make you think. Going forward, you're going to be seeing a lot of me more streaming on Twitch, and hopefully weekly videos will return again soon. But it's going to feel very different. I don't have my company or my team anymore. It's just me once again, by myself. Before I end this video, I want to talk to a few people specifically. To Alex Faciani and Kelly Whistler.
Don't do this. Just reach out to them privately. In my opinion. Just don't do this.
You two have been in my corner for years, supporting me through the insanity that's been TOVG. I am honored and humbled to know the both of you, and I am so deeply sorry for all the pain that I've caused the two of you, even to this day. To my family, but more specifically to my brother Jacques. No matter what happens in life, we will always be family. We will always be brothers. We will, whether we like it or not, be there for each other through thick and thin. I know this has been hard on both of us and our relationship, and this whole video won't fix that.
No. That's not a good sign, though.
But hopefully it's a step in the right direction, and I hope that things go back to the way they once were someday. This is a new me, a new adventure, a new chapter. I learned a lot of hard lessons these last few years. This new road ahead of me will undoubtedly be filled with new highs, new lows, different pains, different sorrows, new battles, and hopefully not new or more enemies, but more importantly, more mistakes. I am only human, and I want to try and do right by each and every one of you who has ever supported me. I hope I can earn your trust and make you all proud of me once more. So with that said, till next time, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again soon for another brand new episode of The Completionist.
Good ending, I think. But I don't really like... I know he might really love his brother, but it feels like he holds his family on a pedestal, and that's once again coming around and bite him in the ass. Yeah. I agree with him on Carl. He's a freaking loser. I'm sorry. What a joke. I want to support the Completionist moving forward, because I feel like that sort of trust can't really be repaired ever. And I also feel it's a bit fucked up. You should have just left your dad and his new wife out of the whole conversation. No one has got anything to do with it, and I feel like Carl's small Discord, like, it's so isolated in some way, with lunatics writing in that channel, probably. So just leave it and say, that's personal, you got nothing to do with it, and I don't have to say anything to you guys. Take a stance on that one, at least. I still feel like, yeah, most of what he says is genuine, and I hope he can recover somewhat. I don't think he deserves to be brandished forever and can't work a job or do what he really loves, I think. Yeah, but he can expect lower views, no sort of partnership with Nintendo probably, etc. So I don't freaking know. I just feel like it's a bit of a shame that it had come to this, and I think that being proactive is always the best. If I fucked up sometime, or if I do something bad, I try to be proactive, and if I can't, I'm just gonna come out and say, this is what I thought, and explain my side. Doesn't have to be anything else. You don't have to be a martyr, you don't have to be aggressive. You can just come out and say, this is what it is, take it or leave it. Sort of, and he didn't. And I think that was a huge error in lapse in judgment, one can say. I wish him the best, I really do. He seems like a good guy in his core, but he just can't sort of leave things out of the conversation when they don't need to be in the conversation. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to do this mainly for myself because I did the other reaction and analysis. I gave my thoughts and I tried to go a bit deeper and trying to understand the whole situation. But now I feel like this, I tried to be fair when it mattered, and I tried to be... He got some W's. This was a better response, and he should have done this response first instead. Yep. Enough rambling from me. 1.5 hours almost. Holy fuck. So if you even watched it, I want to thank you. And yeah, I hope you have a great night or day or wherever you are, wherever you're watching. I hope it's great. I'll be seeing you. Bye.